Risks for Europe, marginalization of Ukraine, an attempt to remove it from the negotiation process and present it with the fait accompli of decisions already made. Blurring of the sanctions regime. The Kremlin links even a temporary ceasefire with the immediate lifting of sanctions. A precedent for a behind-the-scenes settlement, fixing territorial seizures as the basis for future normalization. The Alaska summit is not about peace, but about moving the front line to the sphere of diplomacy, where the Kremlin feels more confident. Russia is seeking to legitimize what it has won, present concessions as impossible, and compromises as unilateral goodwill. For Europe, these are not just negotiations in an exotic location, but a potential point of no return in the issue of international law and the territorial integrity of Ukraine. US Permanent Representative to NATO. Whitaker claims that in the run-up to the meeting, technical teams from Moscow and Washington are already discussing the possibility of exchanging territories and drafting the terms of a future deal. Western media outlets are publishing conflicting insider information and plans. Bild believes that Moscow continues to insist on the withdrawal of the Ukrainian Armed Forces from 4 new regions of Russia. The Wall Street Journal and The Washington Post write that Putin proposed to Trump's special envoy, Whitkov, the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the territory of Donbass and a further freeze of the front line before a final agreement is developed. Trump's former advisor Bolton is literally in hysterics, believing that the summit is a big victory for Putin. The best meeting with the US president in Alaska for the Russian leader would only be a similar summit in Moscow, he believes. The British magazine The Economist is indignant that instead of sanctions against Moscow, Trump announced meetings with Putin. Telegraf believes that the talks in Alaska could become a new Yalta. Putin wants to agree with Trump on the division of spheres of influence and the transition of Ukraine into the Russian orbit. Simply handing over land to Russia in exchange for a fragile truce that might last only a moment is not only a politically toxic idea, it is also frankly short-sighted. It is hard to imagine what Russia currently occupies that it would agree to give back to Ukraine. There are small pockets of land north of Sumy and east and northeast of Kharkiv, border territories that Putin calls a buffer zone. Moscow might be willing to retreat from there, but these are tiny compared to the vast expanses that Russia is encroaching on, demanding that Kiev surrender them to the mercy of the victor without a fight. Among these territories are 2 cities in the Donetsk region, Pokrovsk and Konstantinovka, that have already been all but encircled by Russia's summer offensive. It is not over yet, but the noose is tightening, and the outcome is a foregone conclusion. Let us not forget that Putin clearly wants more. According to the leaked Wall Street Journal, Russia is offering a ceasefire in exchange for the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the entire territory of the DPR and LPR, as well as recognition of the People's Republics and Crimea as Russian. Moscow is ready to fix the current front line and then discuss a territorial exchange to gain full control over the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions.